Brunswick, a man traveling through shot his wife in a jealous rage. A baby's body left abandoned on the rails has been buried and cared for by generations of railwaymen. But without money for preservation, McAdam's history, like other rural towns and villages, is at risk of disappearing. Saving or salvaging our history has become a money game. It takes cold, hard cash to keep our past alive, and losing our heritage is as precarious as rolling the dice. You never know who's going to win or who's going to lose. Once a gateway to Canada and the eastern seaboard, this train station in McAdam, New Brunswick is one of the few remaining relics of Canada's railway past, and it was destined for ruin. Left up to chance and tucked away from the center of power, the rotting interiors were condemned to a slow death. Who decides what is saved and what gets lost when it comes to Canadian heritage? People of McAdam have made that decision for themselves, taking matters into their own hands by selling soup and sandwiches, chasing down government funding. The McAdam train station is being rejuvenated one brushstroke at a time. This is a story not only of this building, but of the people bringing it back to life.
I graduated in 1942, and I heard there was openings here at the station, so I decided to come up to see if there's a job, get a job. And my cousin and I got a job for being maid upstairs. She did one side of the hall and I did the other. But when the troop trains started, I come up and stayed up in the dorm with the girls.
Troop trains marked one of the busiest times in the history of the station. McAdam was a necessary stopping point for all soldiers heading off to war.
This is a story that I wrote that my mother told me. My mother met my father, was married, and had her first child during the Second World War. As a young woman, she attended an evening social. A resident of the community interrupted the gathering to announce the pending arrival of a troop train. He asked if anyone would join the community send-off for these men in uniform. My mom and her friends walked down to the train station. There were cars and trucks everywhere, and a large crowd had gathered. She recalls the noise and the excitement, the coal smoke and cinders, the sea of smiles, faces full of hope, adventure. They hung out the windows, tossing badges and flashes to both loved ones and strangers. My mother remembers the excitement, the fun, the laughter, the cheers. As the train pulled away, this mass of soldiers burst into a popular wartime song, the Beer Barrel Polka. The train got smaller as it chugged down the tracks. The voices became an echo. Only a thin trail of smoke reminded them that it was there at all. They were gone. Many never came home again. My mother tells me that she never hears this song without recalling this particular train passing through her life. And my mother cried.
The heyday of the station was between 1920 to the 1950s. For the people of that era, McAdam showed great promise. But those people belonged to the era of steam. All that came to an end with the introduction of diesel train world of the railway. Fewer and fewer people were now needed to keep it operational.
Once the steam engine started to go, we knew the handwriting was on the wall.
You couldn't have a nightmare that bad.
Bit by bit, the station shut down. No longer in need of a hotel or staff, the top 2 floors were closed. With jobs being lost or moved to St. John, the building was vacated, marking the end of an era. Small day-to-day tasks like making sandwiches, selling a simple meal, or picking up a can of paint have managed to get the station a small amount of national attention. With years of hard work behind them, the citizens of McAdam have become heroes of heritage. So far, the station has been saved.
I foresee someday a train from Boston to Moncton or St. John. The biggest market in the world is only 6 hours south of us.
The citizens of this community are not like those of any other. This has often been proven by their charm, perseverance, and fortitude. Our proud heritage and railroad history has had an impact across Canada. And today we are announcing that we're going forward to preserve a big part of that heritage in McAdam for all Canadians, for many future generations.
The station was always kept alive by people like this. They simply never had control over it. At one time, not even permitted to eat in the dining hall, the station is now theirs officially. With that ownership, they are determined to bring it back to what it was originally, the entire reason for the village of McAdam.